After crossing the Atlantic, something went wrong. So wrong that I've lost my pants. And we're here to find them. Welcome to Translation Trouble. I found that the culture and approach in popular media between Japan and America is something we can all learn from, not only in how we adapt our favorite franchises, but in how we tell stories in general. And that's why we're diving into comics today.
One of the things I love most about comics and manga is the history. For example, in 1964, America was welcoming Captain America back as he joined the Avengers. But in the same year, Japan was introduced to Cyborg 009, a story of revenge and the horrors of war. Comparing the two isn't a matter of better or worse, but instead of difference in cultures, history, and execution. Both artists, Jack Kirby and Shotaro Ishinomori, are the best in their field, and to some are considered the kings of comics. While Jack Kirby captures all the essential detail and fluid motion of the human body, Shotaro Ishinomori can grab the emotion in the moment and place. Taking one more look back this time at 1971, we see Jack Kirby creates the New Gods, an epic tale of Orion and his never-ending task of defeating Darkseid, while Shotaro Ishinomori creates the Masked Rider series, about a man changed into a cyborg and his lone mission of destroying the evil Shocker organization. And yet again, I look and wonder as both have beautiful inkings and spin a tale I can't take myself away from. Yet the difference between them is vast. I still find a lot I can learn from it all.
Flash forward more than a decade later. Many children that have watched anime and read comics have grown up and become artists themselves. One artist in particular, Ben Dunn, creates his own company, Antarctic Press, and his first publication is Mangazine.
The idea was simple. Make a series of stories put together by artists influenced by anime and manga, kind of like Shonen Jump. Looking at Ben Dunn's stories, you can see he still had that style of putting in as many references to other licenses as possible. But like Ishinomori, he captures the moment in each event and panel. Moving on to 1987, and Ben Dunn creates Ninja High School, and it hits the comic world by storm. The quirky characters and grand adventures attracted a lot of people, including Fred Perry, creator of the equally misadventurous story Gold Digger.
These two would create the bulk of Mangazine, as well as Antarctic Press. They would also be the start of a new genre of comic called the Amerimanga. But everyone thought that was a stupid name, so now it's called OEL, or Original English Language Manga.
Eventually, many other publishers would try to take on this new group of manga readers, and publish what stories they could out of them. First is Studio Ironcat, who published Amerimanga, the magazine, not the subculture. The magazine would come to publish artists like Christy Lujiski, who would go on to do Replay, Fred Gallagher, who would do Mega Tokyo, and Jen Quick, who would go on to do Offbeat. But due to poor management, Ironcat would force the magazine to cancel, eventually leading into their own liquidation.
Studio Ironcat was of course not the last. Entering stage right was Tokyo Pop and their Rising Stars of Manga contest. And yes, I still have no pants on.
Beginning in 2002, the Rising Stars of Manga contest would be the largest gathering of amateur artists and raw potential in the industry. Many of the contest winners would go on working for Tokyo Pop and publishing a continuation of their entries. And all the results were across the board. While I enjoyed Christy Lujiski's Replay, I thought Van Von Hunter was alright, and The Dreaming had a horrible composition. Although today the Rising Stars of Manga contest has been cancelled, Tokyo Pop is still taking submissions. Instead, they allow pilots to be submitted, and based on user rating and editorial comments, they may pick it up to become a full graphic novel series. Of course, they aren't the only ones. It's been stated that Viz Media is accepting original comics as well. So far, I haven't seen anything produced. And Del Rey has already published many manga by American artists.
This leads to my overall question. Why call it manga? Is it for marketing? Does it help sales? And who's titling it as manga? well, they're just comics, so if they produce good stories, that's fine. But somebody at Marvel thought it was a good idea, and that's when the mangaverse came in.
I won't get into too much detail until I actually want to review them, but one day Marvel decided to see what they could make off the manga industry by creating the mangaverse. And who did they get to write and illustrate it? Ben Dunn of Antarctic Press, Adam Warren, a personal favorite of mine known for writing Dirty Pair, Gen 13, and his current work Empowered, Udon Studios, who make comics based off of fighting games such as Street Fighter, and a series of other artists. It was met with poor reviews, and for good reason, and after 5 volumes, Marvel finally canceled the series. But Marvel still does this today with the release of Wolverine Prodigal Son and X-Men Misfits. But to give these two some credit, Marvel did learn their lesson, and these 2 titles are not bad.
This review will be coming another day, but the title of manga would be used again, and in the worst way.
Animanga or Cinemanga. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's still stupid. It started with Inuyasha and went on to other franchises like Kim Possible, High School Musical, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is where I really get angry. First, why call it manga when there was no influence of Japanese culture involved whatsoever? It's just a comic and that's it. But even after you get past something so simple, you find the biggest travesty of all. All these comics are snapshots from popular movies or TV shows, with horribly designed panels, inappropriate word balloons, and one of my greatest pet peeves, wasted, unused space between panels.
I know these have little to do with manga, but so long as they have that title, I have to talk about them. If you're just getting into manga, don't base your judgment on these. Before we break this up, I want to bring up 2 more artists, Felipe Smith and Priscilla Hamby.
Felipe Smith and Priscilla Hamby are probably one of the first in a case of an American artist making comics in Japan. They started out in Rising Stars of Manga, and from there created the rare MBQ and Vampire Kiss comic respectively. Eventually, Felipe and Priscilla would be given the job to work for Morning 2, a monthly comic magazine in Japan, producing the comic Bippochu and Kage no Matsuri. To date, Felipe has come out with 2 volumes of Bippochu, and still going. Bippochu, though I've never read it, but I really want to, is about a boy who loves anime and comes to Japan, but along the way meets a Yakuza boss, who has based his entire persona on Western movies and music. The idea is the culture clash, and it's exactly what I'm trying to get across with this show.
The start of the show was in fact to break down the wall between cultures and to get more people interested in comics and manga respectively. That's why I'm going to review any comics that call themselves manga, just to see if they live up to any grand idea people have. But right now, I'm tired and I still can't find my pants, so I'm just gonna go back to bed. But be careful what you say. It may be taken the wrong way.
And next week is Street Fighter.
Bison!